Karl Marx was the father of communism and socialism. Now, in his grand design, his view was that for it to work, he really needed the whole world. Not just one local economy or even a country, but everybody where there were workers needed to be involved. And many countries went that direction, but then in World War I, it was pretty well wiped out. And so a lot of countries just completely were bombed out and gave up on the whole idea. But in 1924, when Joseph Stalin took over Russia, if he'd had a cap like Trump, his slogan would have read, "Socialism for one country." And what he's saying to the people was, you know what, it doesn't have to be a whole world thing. We can do it here in our own country. And so they went that direction. So the agricultural field was taken over by the government. So farmers did not say, I'm going to grow this many fields of wheat or have this much milk. The government planned it all. And of course, that sounds good because the government's got the smartest people. They're so benevolent, and they want to make sure everybody has food to eat 3 meals a day. So they had the best scientists, mathematicians, everybody necessary to work this whole thing out. Problem was, didn't work out as they planned. Math was wrong, predictions didn't work out. The usual corruption and abuse happened within the government, and natural disasters like flooding and droughts and what have you. In the end, wasn't enough food for the millions of people in Russia. Now, if you're a farmer, some of them said, wait a second, I am not going to let the government come in and take every bit of my wheat, milk and stuff and corn and not be able to feed my kids. And so they got their pitchforks because they weren't allowed to have guns, of course. They were ready. The government would come to take all of their food and they would fight. And of course, the government would kill the farmer, his wife, and his kids. Other farmers who didn't have the guts to fight with the pitchforks starved to death. Now, there's a big difference between liberals, conservatives, Democrats, and Republicans, and when it comes to the economy stuff, and this is it. See, on the left, they love government to have full control. We on the right, we believe in limited government. Liberals love movies like Armageddon, for instance, which I did too for the entertainment and action value, but liberals love it because in that movie, it perfectly portrays how the American government saves the planet from disaster. Conservatives like me, we look at historical facts, and we find that when a huge, big government takes over stuff, disaster comes. And so that's why I always vote for people who are for limited government. And I believe in government, don't get me wrong, but I believe more in the protection and the maintenance of individual liberties and rights, not this whole society thing. As individuals prosper, it will help all of society, believe me. I want to leave you with this little joke. A meeting was scheduled between capitalism, communism, and socialism. Well, capitalism and communism show up for the meeting, but socialism's not there. About 15, 20 minutes later, socialism shows up and says, oh, I am so sorry for being late, but I had to stand in line for some sausage. Capitalism said, what's a line? And communism said, what's sausage? If you didn't get that right away, take some time, good humor and meaning in that little joke. So for me personally, I love freedom.